For you guys that have been following the channel for a while, this was the emergency dam repair we did last fall, and unfortunately we are back for emergency dam repair round 2. Obviously what we did didn't quite hold, so let's hit the ground, dig a little deeper, and see what we can figure out. So here is what it looks like back from ground level. If you guys remember from the previous videos of fixing this, this thing has slid eerily similar to the way it was before. And I've noticed a couple different things this go around. The first attempt at repair, if you guys watched the videos, we detailed it out very well. We basically stacked stair steps in here and compacted it and worked our way from the top to the bottom. Basically built a chalk down below and chalked each stair step in, and it held. It actually held for about 6 or 7 months until the water started filling up inside the pond, and then eventually it pretty much slid all at once again. So couple things. What we're going to do this time, obviously the issue is most likely deeper than what we worked before, and if you guys watch those videos, we worked pretty deep. We also have a wet spot over there that I am still convinced is not leaking out of the pond. There's actually a rock shelf out of there. I think it's bleeding out of the hillside, but that don't mean it's not bleeding back underneath there, maybe causing our problem. If you guys walk over here and look at the slip plane a little bit, there's actually a little bit of a wet spot right there. So I don't know if this lake fills up enough. Then we got a leak in the upper part of the dam, which saturates that, and there she goes. Either way, here's the plan of attack for this time. We are basically going to come in here and take out this whole section of dam that has slipped, which is probably about 1/3 of this dam. We're just going to take the dozers, shove it out, push it over there in a pile, investigate everything, see what we got, then push it back and compact it. And hopefully, if we have any leaks or any issues, they'll all be addressed at that time. This wet spot down here, we do not want to lose that. We're basically going to work around it for now. Once we get down on that plane, we're probably going to take the track hoe, dig down, investigate that a little bit, and see if we can determine whether that water is coming out of the pond or out of the rock, and whether or not we need to maybe put some sort of pipe or drainage in to control that. So I've got to run and do a few other things this morning. We got the 850J and the Volvo up there right now. Jerry's going to come in here in a little bit. He's basically going to strip topsoil off. We're going to take all the topsoil that way. And he's basically going to get this job set up. So Monday, today's Saturday if anybody's wondering, Monday we'll probably bring the second 850 up here, the 850B, and we're just going to start pushing dirt. We're just going to get this dam out of here, get it down, figure out what we got, and at that point we'll get a plan on how we're going to go back with it. So let me run town, let me run a few errands, do a few things, and we'll come back and check on Jerry and see how he's getting along. All right guys, made it back out here. As you guys can see, Jerry's been pushing for a couple hours. He's made some pretty good progress. We've also made a few kind of interesting discoveries. Up there where he's cutting, you can see and Jerry can feel every one of those old benches we put in. Compacted extremely tight, no moisture, good dry dirt. Once you get down below them, and I'll walk up there in a minute, it gets really soft, really spongy, and really wet. And you guys can see a little bit of water standing right there. There's some water coming out of the bank over here. I'm still not convinced it's coming out of the pond. I don't think the pond's leaking, because over here you can't see because of the grass. There's actually water coming out of the hill that is higher than the water level in that pond. So we know from the guy that built the pond that he hit some rock. He hit a rock layer in there somewhere. And from all the work we do with Chris for field tile, we know how that water likes to follow that rock. So So what I'm kind of thinking is happening at this point is that rock ledge still runs somewhere underneath that dam, and it's bleeding out in there and saturating that all up and making that base layer wet, which makes it unstable. And here we are. So right there, he's probably about 8 to 10 feet lower than what we were originally. Here comes Farmer Chris to check on us. 8 to 10 feet lower than what we were originally, and it's still wet. So we're just gonna keep on going down until we hit something dry, hit something solid, and then we'll start going back. So we're gonna let Jerry push here a little bit. This is Saturday, it's the middle of August. It's about as dry as it's gonna get. And we'll be back here Monday with a second dozer, a water pump, and a few other things, and we'll see what happens. Let's go see what that guy wants. This is a hayfield. I don't think he wants this sprayed.
Oh, I can kill this grass for you and get rid of it.
I don't think you're gonna push much dirt with that.
Have you seen me push dirt with that yet?
I have, actually. I've seen the aftermath of that as well. Yeah. So, oh, you're in trouble now.
And these temples just smell fresh dirt, and they want to put seed in it right away.
He wanted no big plant right up there. It's like it had plenty of moisture.
Is that where all the topsoil's at in the dam?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. And then we got a nice spring feeding it, you know.
Is the AC go out of that thing already?
No, I use it whenever it gets dusty.
Okay.
He said it ain't hot enough, Chris.
Come back later this week. It'll be hot.
I showed up. He said, "You'd be proud of me, Mike. I used the AC while I pushed the topsoil off. But then I figured I'd open the doors back up."
Look dusty, didn't it?
All right, Farmer Chris just stopped by, kind of being nosy. He was working down the road, but as you guys can see right here, we have water. It is running pretty substantial. It's coming from that way and coming from that way. So we got to find the source of that. That is part of the problem. You can almost kind of see right here where it's just sliding on top of itself where that water's at. I don't know if it's coming out of the pond. I don't know if it's coming out of the bank. I think it's coming out of the bank, but that time will tell on that. As you guys can see right here, we've even got water up a little bit higher, which is actually right in line with that spot over there. So I don't know, we got to find a way to control it. I know that much. We got to find a way to control it, but you guys can see from the ruts the dozer's making, this is actually pretty soft. You get up there where we worked out before and we compacted it in, it's pretty tight. So watch Jerry take the top of that ledge off there. Whoa, I'm sitting here looking up at the dozer. Oh, Jerry getting her done up there on top of the high wall. The amazing part is, he actually closed the windows. He's got the AC going. Look at him go. What you guys can't see is on the other side is the water there. So as you guys see him slide down a little bit, he's sliding towards what little bit of water's left in the lake. And that top is hard. There he goes. There's what it looks like from the top side. You can kind of see that narrow little bench he was working on there. He wasn't too close to the water there. He's got a little bit of room to work, but we're probably going to get this water down at least another 5 to 7 feet just to make sure we don't have any issues of flooding our work area or the dam giving out unexpectedly, because that would not be good. But like I said, guys, fortunately I need to go and get some stuff rounded up for Monday, and we'll be back here and go at it. We'll see what happens. Hopefully round 2 is the ticket. All right, guys, we are back. Today is actually Wednesday. We actually got a little bit of rain the last couple days. We had some rain in the forecast. We got more than what they were predicting, so we kind of just stayed away. Didn't want to make a bigger mess than what we already have. As you guys can see, it's starting to dry up pretty nice. Jerry actually got quite a bit of dirt moved the other day while he worked here for a little bit. So the plan is today, I actually got the little tractor and the 4-inch pump. We're gonna take the track hoe, cut a little notch right there, get that set up. I'd still like to get this water level down probably another 6 to 8 feet, maybe somewhere in that neighborhood. But look what's sitting up there, guys. For the first time, we got the old 850 and the new 850 side by side. Let's go check them out. We'll have to admit, seeing these two things sitting side by side, I am remarkably surprised how similar in size they really are. The first thing you notice, and I've talked about it before, this one here, the blade's like 8 inches narrower. This blade here is about 6 inches shorter. Surface area, they're almost identical, but one thing that's interesting is if you follow the height of that blade over, look, that's exactly where this blade stops rubbing the paint off of it. It's almost like that little extra piece of blade is, I don't want to call it useless, but do the old timers know something the newer guys don't? It's crazy how the top of that blade lines up with exactly the wear mark on that blade. Just an interesting little observation. But other than that, they're almost identical in size. They're the same length, they're the same width with the exception of the blades. Hoods are the same height. Top of the cab's the same height. The push arms and the blade assemblies are quite a bit different, and the drive gears are quite a bit different. But there's a good look at the difference in the draft arms. This 850J obviously is attached way farther back and has a considerably bigger draft arm than the 850B, but this dozer here pushes better. I think it has something to do with how much lower that draft arm is mounted. See how much lower it's mounted? I think that helps on the leverage a little bit. I could be wrong. This one here is also mounted a lot farther back, where that one's mounted a lot farther forward. I don't know, there's definitely some difference in the geometry of the blades. This one seems to push a whole lot straighter and a whole lot better than this one. But like I said, this one's got more power and it's a little bit faster. So hopefully today, with a little bit of luck, we'll see these two things running side by side and see what kind of damage we can do. But first things first, let's go get the Volvo and get a pump going. Trying to get me a little bit of a notch cut here. We can get that tractor and pump down here. Let's get it sitting right down the water so our draft hose is not so long. I do have a siphon set up over there. That's actually how we sucked as much water out of this pond as what we had with that siphon. But it's only 1.5 inches, and the direction we have to go with it, it'll be right in our work area. So I think it's time to burn a little diesel fuel, switch over to the 4-inch pump. Excuse me, and get this thing sucked down so we can get to working on it. So don't like running the pump unless we have to. That's probably why you guys don't see it very often, but I think this situation here, it's time to fire the old pump up and blow some water out of this thing. So let me finish up this notch and we'll finish up this notch. Oh, hang on, and we'll back that pump in here and see if we can get her fired up. Thing's just an absolute joy to back, let me tell you. We'll let her run from right there. I think that'll work. All right, we got the little tractor and the pump going. As you guys can see, we are moving just a little bit of water I wish I had one more section of hose to get to the bottom of the dam there, but we're pretty close. We're gonna keep an eye on it, make sure we don't need a hole out there, but she's running pretty good. I walk up over the hill here, show you guys what we got going on. Up here. It's a long ways up this dam. It's like 7 in the morning and it's already hot out here. It's gonna be a scorcher, they say. It's gonna be a scorcher. There's the setup on top, guys. Got the pump set up, and tractor's running about half throttle. I don't see no reason to really push it any harder than that. It's been running for about 15 minutes, and by gauging by the water line, we probably dropped it 1.5 inches, 2 inches. But Jerry had a choice of dozers this morning. You guys can already see which one he chose. It is what it is. So, since he's running the old dozer, I'm gonna take that opportunity to run a little bit of maintenance on the new one, and then I guess we'll hop in there and get the pushing. So the plan is, we're gonna take this knot, push it over there where Jerry's stripping topsoil. We're gonna take that knot and push it down there. At that point, we'll get a plan on how we want to put this thing back together. So let's go run some maintenance and get to work. I told you, that's your baby. So let me kind of explain what's going on here a little bit, guys. You've seen the original video where I had all the issues with the dirty air radiator, the air conditioner, the dirty air filter, all that stuff. We got it serviced up. Dozer's been doing really good, but we've been fighting a few random gremlins. And the worst one is the blade, as you're operating it, the blade bleeds off really bad. But then whenever you go to raise it back up to counteract the bleeding, it like drops a couple inches and then slams up real fast. It makes it almost impossible to run grade. I haven't talked about it a whole lot on video up to this point, but it's one of the reasons why Jerry's running that dozer this morning and not this one. It's if you're just flat hogging dirt, it's not bad, but if you're trying to do any type of finish work at all, it's almost impossible. And not only that, it's hard on the dozer. I mean, it slams hard. So with that being said, I got a hold of CTC reached out to me after the last video. They said, if you have any more problems, let me know. So I got back a hold of them, told them what was going on. He wanted me to check a few things, which is what I was doing this morning. This dozer used to have GPS on it, and the GPS is teed into the pilot lines going into the spool valves. There's a bunch of check valves right there. He said, let's check those check valves. Well, that's all been eliminated. Somebody's already taken all that off, so that wasn't the problem. So the next likely culprit is up here, actually on top of the radiator. It's got the blade float valve, and it's got a bunch of check valves and orifices and acetylene stuff in it. And he's thinking that's most likely the problem, so he's actually going to ship me one down. We'll switch that out in another video and see if that takes care of the problem. The other thing is this thing is puking oil. This is the lever that tilts the cab up to work on it, and it leaks. I mean, it leaks bad. So I mentioned something to Clint about that. He says, I'll get you new and I'll send it down. It should unthread and thread right back in. Hopefully take care of that problem. So I'm still happy with the dozer. I don't really have any complaints. You know, you buy a used piece of equipment, you can't expect a new piece of equipment to show up. I get that. I fully expect to find a few things and work a few things. Yes, there's been a few more than I anticipated, but we'll be all right, guys. We'll be all right. Let's get this girl fired up and go push some dirt with Jerry. All right, just had a little powwow up there with Jerry. I said, you want the new dozer? He said, nope, I'm perfectly happy at home on the old girl. So we're gonna fire this girl up. He's gonna go down below, and I'm gonna work on this upper bench here a little bit. See what we got. What in the world was that? Good news. It was nothing. I just forgot to shut the door over there. So, all right, let's get to pushing some dirt. All right, I'm gonna try to talk and operate here at the same time. Jerry's got one heck of a high wall right here. This part of the dam right here, we're still a little bit uncertain of how good a quality of dirt it is. But we do know that over there, it turns into some halfway decent stuff again. So I'm gonna kind of work myself a second bench across there. And basically keep cutting the bad stuff out until we get to the good stuff. Jerry went down below. He's down there working on getting some of that mud cut out, so we can see if we can figure out what the root of that problem is with all the water coming out down there. Hopefully get that figured out sooner rather than later. Going down trying to figure out what we were getting into, but we're going to try to work our way across there and make a bench. Just wanted to point out a few things here real quick, guys, while I'm kind of pushing this bench across here. That kind of shows up in this video. So you always hear Gary and I talk about these dozers and how straight and how well they push. And this, it kind of shows up in this little video clip here. Is if you watch this dozer as I dig in the left corner bit to kind of cut this bench across there, you can see it just continually sucking the dozer into the bank. Now, it don't matter what dozer you have or what you're operating, it's going to do that to some extent, and you can kind of see me twisting out of it there a little bit. And I'm fully aware Jerry's a better operator than I am, but me and Jerry both fight this same issue. It's not really an issue, it's just a characteristic of the dozer, this dozer versus the other dozer. And in some upcoming videos on another day, I actually get some really good video of the other 850 pushing in a very similar situation, and it kind of shows you how it continues to push straight, because whenever you're pulling yourself back out away from the bank, you're basically having to take power away from the outside track. Anytime you take power away from the outside track, instead of adding more forward push, you're actually adding more drag to the dozer, which is, it's just kind of a snowball effect that just kind of keeps getting worse and worse and worse. Also, in these clips, if you notice, there's a little hood flap up there on the front of the dozer, right there where you check the antifreeze for the radiator. And anytime you guys see that pop up, that's actually what I'm talking about with the blade control issue. It don't show the blade really good on video, raising or dropping, but it hits so hard it'll actually make that hood flap kind of bounce up a little bit. So just kind of keep an eye on that. But Jerry's working on the lower bench there. I'm trying to get this upper bench kind of established, so we got 2 different benches. The ultimate goal of what we're doing right here, and I'll talk about it a little bit later, is we just got to get all this old dirt cut out of there, get down to where we can see, investigate what the problem is, basically, so we can go from there. So hopefully that makes sense. Jerry's still down there pushing with the old 850. He's actually, we got a big knot of mud or something in there right there. He's trying to get it laid out down there where it'll dry, but right here, I can show you guys what I'm trying to do. If you guys can see that line right there, that is the slip line. That's where it's been slipping. If you walk up here a little bit closer, you can almost see exactly where it is. It's right there in my shadow. Let me go the other way. It's really obvious right here because whenever I ran over with the dozer, see how it shoved it up right there? Right through there. So the ultimate goal is basically we're trying to get this cut down enough to where we know we've got that slip plane cut all the way out of there. I would say this is probably deeper than what we were before. That's had almost 8 feet off of it, and I'm still another 8-10 feet down. So we're getting a pretty good ways down the dam. I'm getting to the point where I don't know how much farther I want to go until the water level gets dropped a little farther. We're going to take a few more shoves out of there and see what we got. And basically we'll set over and bench this in again and do the same thing until we're down below. If we have to take it all out, we'll take it all out. If we don't have to take it all out, there's no point to, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. So back to shoving dirt. All right, guys, little midday update here. You guys can see I've taken the 850J and got a couple benches pushed across there. We're just now starting to get into something solid. It's not as solid as what we'd like, Jerry and I decided to take this knot and carry it down the hill and try to get it dried out. You guys see that dark spot right there? That's a big old wad of topsoil that does not need to be in the dam, but it is in the dam, so not for sure what's going on with that. I don't want to get too carried away. I think we're close to solid ground here. It's holding the dozers up a lot better, but I don't want to get too carried away until I get this water level dropped a little bit farther. We just refueled the tractor. It's been running for about 4 hours. It's probably dropped this every bit of a foot. So we need some more run time on the pump, unfortunately. But we got plenty to do while we're waiting. I got to run to town, run a few errands, and get some fuel. I'll be back in a little bit. We'll see what Jerry's got done. I'm hoping by the time we get back, that knot will be gone. I gave him the option to run the other dozer. I was gone. He said, nope, I'm just fine doing what I'm doing. So we're going to let him go and be back in a little bit. You guys can see the water still pouring out down there. So we're getting it. Hopefully, we just got to find, we have got to find something solid down there that we can build off of and start coming back up. I just don't know how deep we're gonna have to go to find something solid, but I don't know. We'll keep going. We may see China push it over with. Just got back from lunch and running a few errands. As you guys can see, Jerry's pretty much got that hump pushed out of there. He's gonna jump over on our spoil pile. That stuff he pushed up there last was pretty wet, so he's kind of shoving it up there. They'll take the dozer and kind of strike it off. We got sun and we got wind today, which is really good for drying, so we want to take full advantage of that. I'm basically going to jump down this next bench here. We're going to start shoving on that way. Keep going with that. You can still see we are not deep enough right here. We're just not deep enough. You can actually see right here where it's still sliding. So I think our plan is we're going to cut this step down, kind of let that slide off into it. Hopefully it'll give us an indication how deep we need to be. But the name of the game right now is just keep pushing dirt, just to keep pushing dirt. So back at it we go. Guys, it is always something. The good news is air conditioning is working amazing. It's like right at 100 degrees outside, and it feels awesome in here. The bad news is I've got it cooled down right now, but we are having difficulties keeping this dozer cool. It still wants to run hot. I've been talking to Clint up at CNC a little bit. He seems to think we may have a bad fan drive motor, so I don't want to push this thing and tear it up, so we're going to park this thing up for now. Park this thing up for now and not cause any more damage. Jerry, the old trusty over there, running like a sewing machine. So we're gonna let him do his thing. We're gonna get parked up. I'm gonna run and get some tools, some test equipment, work on this dozer a little bit while Jerry keeps on doing his thing. So always something. I guess that's nice not having two dozers. At least one of them still going, I guess. She pushes good when she pushes. She gets hot fast. All right, end of the day, status report. How's that sound? So here's where we're at, guys. Here's what's going down if I don't fall over into the cliff here. I'm still having all kinds of issues with the 850J and overheating, and we're having some other issues with it as well. I'll cover that in a minute, but the old trusty 850B has been hammered down all day, and we haven't really had any issues with it at all. Jerry's been running hard, pushing hard. Most of what you see down here today was done with the older dozer. We are finally getting down into some better material. Jerry's kind of got it scattered out there, letting it dry. We're probably going to go down a couple more lifts and then start benching it off. I don't know 100% for sure. We still need to get this water level down a little bit farther. You can see where it's kind of wanting to crack and pull away here a little bit. We want to get this down here, probably to at least that level, to come back up. So we got quite a bit of water to get pumped out of here yet, but it's dropping. Pump's been running all day. We've lowered her every bit of 2 feet, or so, and the lower it goes, the faster it should drop, right? That's a good theory. But I'm talking to excuse me, talking to Clint at CNC Equipment where I bought the dozer at. He's actually been a lot of help today. I feel bad. I've been bugging him a lot because we got a blade control issue and we got an overheating issue. We're fighting two different issues. He had me go through some settings in the monitor. He's had me check the fan speed. He's had me check a few other things, and he wants me to clean the radiator one more time. You guys see me clean it the first time. I think I did a good job, but I did not use a degreaser. He wants me to use a degreaser on it this time, so I'm gonna do that. And the next thing is, he believes it may be the fan drive motor. I changed the fan drive, but I not changed the fan drive motor. So I'm gonna take off north in the morning to his shop and pick that up. It is hot, guys. Man, it is hot. It's like 105 degrees out here right now, but I'm gonna take off up there in the morning, pick that up, put it on this dozer while it's cool. But while I've got the pressure washer here, I think we're gonna go ahead and clean the radiators out in both machines. Jerry has been pushing this machine hard today. He's running a tank and a half of fuel through this dozer, and it's never got over 205. It usually runs about 195. I think he said at one time it got up to 205. Oh, Trusty, baby. Oh, Trusty is getting her done. She is saving our butt on this job. This thing here, it gets up to about 230, and the computer is not happy. Starts showing all kinds of warning signs, and you're not pushing no more. I'm shutting you off and pulling the plug. So the radiator still looks really good from when we cleaned it out last time. I really don't think that's the problem, but I'll do my part. I'll clean it out again. This one here, it hasn't been cleaned out in a couple years. It don't feel bad. I got the pressure washer here. I'm gonna go ahead and clean it out. So anyways, I knew this job was gonna be a bear. The weather's not been the best with the heat and the rain. I was hoping the landowner would have more water out of here, and he don't. But guys, perseverance pays off. We're gonna stick with this. We're gonna get it figured out. So stay tuned tomorrow. I'm gonna make a trip to CNC in the morning, pick up some parts, get it on this dozer. I was really hoping to have all the bad stuff pushed out today and going back tomorrow. I still think, unfortunately, we got a full day of pushing dirt out, especially if we can't get both dozers running before we start going back. But that's okay. That's okay. We'll get it. So anyways, guys, we're gonna wrap it up. I'm gonna go pressure washing. I'm gonna run some parts in the morning. I will catch up with you then. If you like the video, guys, if you don't care to give it a thumbs up, it definitely helps the channel. If you want to make sure you don't miss the next one on this job, consider subscribing. Either way, hope you guys enjoyed the video, and we shall see you on the next one.